Hey there, Wranglers. How you doing? I've been doing okay. I've had a lot of brain fog the last few days and or the last week or so. Just started some new PT for my recovery from my injury, and some of it's pretty taxing. So I still have some research to do for on a couple of other topics. But today I wanted to talk to you about something that really happened again. I'm getting lucky with all this stuff. Knock on wood. These are harmless things. Knock on wood. Anyway, a couple days ago. Um, my wife and her friend went out to this bridge nearby here, and supposedly this bridge is haunted. And if you go out there to this bridge, you can hear this woman basically calling for her baby. Where's my baby? Where's my baby? Now they went out there in the middle of the day, and they didn't hear anything. But that's the legend of this bridge is that if you go out there at night and stuff like that, you can hear where's my baby? But on the way to the bridge, they stopped at a restaurant. Okay. And they talked to the guy at the restaurant who owned the restaurant, who told them that, yeah, the real danger out there isn't isn't the ghosts. It's, the goofballs that run out there and do crazy shit, and you got to be careful of those kind of people. And so the girls had to laugh about that. And that's good. I told them it was good they went out there during the day. So they went out there and they spent some time. And then evidently close to this bridge is let me back up a little bit if I didn't make it clear. Evidently, a woman was at this bridge a long time ago, a long, long time ago, and her baby drowned in the water near the bridge there. I have to get some more details from them to figure out exactly how it happened, but I just seem to think that the woman and her baby fell into the water and they both drowned there. And that's why you hear the ghost and you hear the mom yelling, hollering for the baby. And then they said you could hear the baby crying. That's the legend of the bridge. Sorry, I didn't get to that. I didn't make that very clear. I'm just kind of talking out of context here. Forgive me. Respect my authority, but I got some brain fog going on here. And of course, the guy at the restaurant told him, "Yeah, it's just the goofballs out there you really got to worry about." But also near this bridge is a church, and the church is supposedly haunted as well because a pastor of the church hung himself there. Okay, and I said, and I was like, well, okay, that's interesting to know too. And I was like, I'd like to go out there and see these places one of these days, and I will. And I'll take my camera with me, I'll film it, and we'll have live footage of this stuff. And so you guys can see it too. I don't know if we'll go out at day or night or whenever, but we'll do it. So the pastor evidently hung himself out, from the bell tower up in there, and that up in that church that's nearby there, the abandoned church. So this is all the makings of a good horror story or a good ghost story. We got the bridge, the haunted bridge. We've got the abandoned church. We've got the deaths involved around here. Um, the they so let me I'll finish this and then circle back on what I think happened. Anyway, so both the girls went home, and my wife came home to my house and her friend went home to her house. And the next couple of days, both of them were kind of sick. Neither of them had any energy. Neither of them could get themselves quite together. They just did not feel good. And my wife's friend had a dream about this place. Now, last year, my stepson passed, and that was very sad. He was a grown man, and my wife's friend said she had a dream that my stepson was there at the bridge, and he went down, the one that passed went down into the water, found the baby, brought it up, and found the woman and gave her baby back. And this is a dream my wife's friend had. I would expect my wife to have a dream like that, but no, her wife's friend had this dream about this going on. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And of course, my wife was like, "Do you think that it was, him and all that?" I said, "I don't know. I just don't know." And but I think it's very interesting, and I do want to go out there and check it out. So they that's the dream that she had. And like I said, both girls both women. They're women. Both of them were very sick. They just didn't feel good for the next couple of days, and so got by best we could, and all that kind of thing. And so I was talking with my wife, and she goes, "Well, what do she's talking about things that happened, and she goes, "Well, maybe the bat." Ow! Oh gosh, damn it! Oh. Excuse me. That hurt. I whipped my arm around and it pulled my back. The side of my back gives me a lot of problems sometimes because of the compensation I got to do. Forgive that. That was so surprisingly painful. Anyway, she goes, "Why do you think the pastor, hung himself?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know." And she goes, "You think it's because he was gay and they all found out?" I said, "No." I said, "This happened a long, long time ago. I don't think that. I mean, that could have been it." I said, "More than likely, what happened was he got, either maybe his wife cheated on him and he did this. Maybe he got caught in a scandal and did this, something like that, something a little more of the time frame back. I'm not sure exactly, maybe 50, 60 years ago or something along those lines, something more akin to that time frame. However, it could have been the other explanation because that did happen back then too. Maybe okay, but I said no. It probably was, some scandal he was involved with that caused him to do this, knowing he was going to lose the church or be defrocked, as it were, or whatever. And then the woman that lost her baby, and she goes, "What do you think happened there?" And I can't remember what she said was the the thing about the woman that lost her baby. I said, "Well, we're talking a long time ago." I said, "What probably happened, if this really did happen, is this girl got pregnant out of wedlock and went." Maybe she did have the baby, probably did have the baby, and was maybe running across that bridge to get to someplace she wanted to be, or maybe her dad was mad at her, chasing her, or something like that. That could have been, she could have been running off, maybe to meet her the guy that got her pregnant, her boyfriend or whatever, and fell into the bridge and drowned, or fell off the bridge, not fell into the bridge and drowned, fell off the bridge and drowned. I said that's what I would guess happened is, a young girl that time frame running, you know, she might have been able to hide the pregnancy for a while and then was taken off to someplace else so it wouldn't be so obvious, maybe go to an aunt's house or something and then establish a thing where they're going to raise the kid as the little brother or sister of the mom. Or that's what these are just guesses on my part. I said, knowing the time frame and knowing what was going on then, that's most likely what happened. If anything did happen, I said that would be my guess. If I was a betting man and I was in ghost Las Vegas and they made me bet on these ghost stories, that's what I would do is I'd bet that way. So they got that, she seemed like, oh yeah, yeah, it seems like a pretty good idea, and thinking that'll work. And but the and I haven't talked to the other lady yet, even though I'm doing some work with her. We haven't talked about this in particular, but it was interesting. It was funny. It's kind of like, they went out there and they came back, and then the stories start to kind of seep out of the situation, and that's pretty cool. I shouldn't say seep out. I don't know what the word is, but I start hearing more and more about it, and more details. And I hope to bring you more details when I can. About this situation. It would be fun to learn a little bit more about some of the areas around here. Now, some of you may or may not know I'm back east, on the east part of the United States. It's the older part of the United States, more or less. I mean, we have the older buildings, the older stuff. This is where the colonists first came to when they came across the sea on the Mayflower and all of that kind of thing. And when the first 13 colonies are here on the East Coast, around that. And as you head out west, the pioneers went out there, and that was a while later. And but then there's some older cities, that were um, erected out there, of course, because of the gold rush. I mean, they're pretty old cities. I guess a lot of cities in California and Nevada and North Dakota and some of the other ones were all set up because of the gold rush and that sort of thing. But anyway, that's a brief history lesson. So this is my take on the ghosts, if there are ghosts or if there is an incident there. Now, it is very possible that nothing could have happened, and I don't even know where I'd go to research it. I've got to get the name of the bridge. I've got to get the area and see, and maybe talk to some more local yokels and see what I'm a local yokel here too, so see what they say about it. But it was interesting that the restaurant owner was like, "Yeah, you got to watch out for the crazies." So we will be doing that for sure. And when we go out there. But these two stories, were pretty interesting. And then I got to thinking, what if these stories were related? Okay. What if the pastor got the girl pregnant? Okay, and knowing he was going to get busted, hung himself, and she went to run off to save her and the baby and fell in the water near there. Who knows? I mean, maybe these are related stories. Maybe these are intertwined. I think that'd be fascinating, and maybe I should write that up as a story or something. But I have to go out there and get the actual, get some more actual detail on this thing and figure it out. But there were no axe murderers. There was no nothing. I think they saw some graffiti or something around there. I can't remember what they said about that. You know, any place that's something hot, and you know how kids are when you're a kid, a teenager, especially when you learn to drive. When you're your mid to late teens and then your early 20s and stuff like that. Maybe, you're going to be doing that kind of crap. You're going to find some place that people say is haunted, and go out there. In fact, I've got some tales about that, doing that myself. One of them is really weird. And I don't mean to tease it like that, but I will tell you that it happened to me when I was in Colorado. Very strange story. And I was with three other people. We all four experienced the same thing. But in this case, yeah, kids go out there and they goof around, and people are really good at freaking themselves out. Um, there was before I tell you the big story in Colorado, I'm not going to do that today, but let me get some water here. There was a house in Colorado out on the Eastern Plains, and I can't remember what they called it. Something like I don't want to say chainsaw killer because it wasn't that chainsaw massacre killer. It was some kind of killer that supposedly this, killer killed these people near this house, and the killer, I think it was a hook. Something tells me that it was a hook, and that there was this crazy hook guy out in this house, and I think that was even the name of it, the Hook House or something like that, and everybody was afraid to go out there, and or sometimes you drive by it and point at it, there's the Hook House, and nobody had the guts to go out there and do it, and eventually, I think after many, many excursions out there, somebody came back and reported that they saw that the place was not abandoned at all. It was occupied by an older farmer, and he had some grandkids out there. And I guess maybe his wife was out there, but it kind of shot the whole idea of the Hook House or whatever the hell it was down the toilet. That this whole time people have been afraid of this house, driving by it, not stopping and just getting by it as fast as they could, because that killer was out there. Who was going to get you. But it just turned out it was an old farmhouse that was still occupied by maybe the original people that built it, or original people that moved in there. So that some of these things can turn out to be pretty benevolent, almost like what was it, Dave and Tucker, something that face evil, where it's all in the mind of the people who are the potential victims of what the real danger is. So anyway, I've also been had a request to do some longer videos, and I will. I can tell you some longer videos, but maybe I should. You know what? Let's do that. I will do a longer video. I'm going to tell you what happened to me out on the Eastern Plains of Colorado. One night, I think it was a Saturday night, me and my buddies were in. They were hot rodders, okay, machine heads, motorheads, not it's not speed or anything like that, but mechanic types. Um, we had been out goofing around at a place called Celebrity Sports Center and driving around town in Colorado, and I don't think Celebrity's still there. I think it's gone. But anyway, we decided to do the scary thing and go way out east. So we went out east, and we were getting there like near dawn. Okay. And we finally decided to stop and stretch our legs because we'd been driving for quite a while from middle of downtown Denver to out to the Eastern Plains. And there was a bridge, and there was a sandy, sand below the bridge where the water had once been. And we get out, and we're down there, and we're kind of trying to freak ourselves out a little bit, just having some fun. And I guess I drew a cross into the dirt, into the sand there with a stick. As soon as I did, this is true, I swear to God, as soon as I did this, we started hearing this kaboom coming across the plains like thunder, but there was no thunder. It was the middle, it was not even daylight yet. I mean, it was just starting to become daylight, and the sky was clear. And then we heard a boom again, and we're like, what the hell? So we all ran up onto the road, and we were looking, and we saw one of these oil towers where they burn off the excess, and that thing was just burning constantly. It wasn't exploding. It wasn't doing. It was off in the distance, just kind of they're burning like those little oil towers do. And then we heard it kaboom again. So we decided we're getting the hell out of there. We jumped in this guy's car, and he actually had a blower on his car, and he started driving. Well, as we're driving, we're going at a pretty good clip. This other car, I think it was a car or a truck, comes up behind us and wants to get in. And we were going over the way over the speed limit, but it was a 2-lane road. And this guy comes up to us, and he's riding on right on our ass. Finally, these people in this truck or whatever the hell it was, I think it was a truck. I was kind of trying to hard to look behind you and do the same thing. They bumped us. They actually bumped our car. And that's when this guy, Bob, the guy that owned the car, it was like, no fucking way. And he clicked, I mean, he hit his blower and we floored it or whatever you do with him. And we just started, we outdistanced him. I mean, we had the power. We screamed away from him. And we got quite a, we left him in the dust. But it was pretty freaking strange that we'd be sitting out there. I mean, as soon as I did that little cross in the sand, these booms start coming across the plains, the eastern plains of Colorado. And then as we get in our car and are driving like trying to drive like crazy to get out of there, this other vehicle comes up behind us. And the old uh, rumor in Colorado was that the Satanists used to go out there and, do do a bunch of stuff, do their rituals. And it's like one time I was talking one time by the time high school was getting ready to end, I was sitting around with a friend of mine and we were talking about it and we were laughing. I think this had already occurred and all that or whatever, but it was a weird thing. He goes, but yeah, he goes, yeah, everybody's afraid to go out there, and not because of my story, just in general. It's like, yeah, it's like, 50 high schools kids killed by 2 Satanists. That was his thing. It's like, yeah, a bunch of us are going to go out there and there'll be like 2 guys out there worshiping Satan. And so that'll be the news headline, 50 high schoolers killed by 2 Satanists, and anyway, so that was the rumor out there. But as we got older, it got dispelled, except for that one bizarre occurrence, which really happened. And I don't know how much of a coincidence that was, if that was a shotgun or something going off, if we were trespassing, or there's a lot of different things it could have been. It sounded like it was coming, the boom was coming across the plains. Could have been a big gun, somebody firing a big gun in the air, and then they chased us out of there. That's very possible, but the sound was so big. I don't think it was a gun, because guns usually don't sound kaboom like coming across the plains. It's funny, it's usually easy to mistake guns for fireworks and fireworks for guns. If you ever hear them, it's like the guns have the real sharp report, and the fireworks have the slow report, like that. I was a police officer, and I know what guns sound like, and I know what fireworks sound like. So going out east there was quite the adventure in Colorado. Now I don't care what state you're in: Colorado, Maine, New Mexico, Oregon, Alaska, uh, Texas, Idaho, Indiana, wherever you're at. There's going to be freaky places that you and your friends went to. I guarantee it. So let me know about them. Put them in the comments and let me know. And yeah, tell your friends to like and subscribe. And we'll be starting a new project, I think, on July 6th. And remember Babble Gab on Tuesday nights. And I'll see you guys at the next roundup. Take care.